Good evening, everybody. You know, for quite some time, I've been talking about this OFA testing that the girls would be undergoing after they got 2 years old. And I know I talked about it ever since I started their videos and their channel, Holy Golden Doodles. And I do want to say right here, I apologize for the way I sound, but I think I had the flu, but I'm good now, so I'm getting this thing done. And anyway, right here, we're on our way, me and Pet Dad, to take the girls to their OFA testing. Now, that was done at the Progressive Animal Health Care in a city about an hour away from us. And that place is, oh my gosh, I can't say enough about how awesome they are, how clean, beautiful marble floors, just the most professional staff I have ever seen anywhere. But they do OFA testing there. Our vet here in our town doesn't do that, so we went to this place. And we had some take-home instructions because we opted to have all the preliminary tests done before the girls were put under anesthesia. That's the best way to have OFA testing done because it's a lot less painful on them. They can get a lot more accurate reading if they're anesthetized. I won't say too much because I'll get in the middle of some of the stuff I want to read. Now, the OFA testing that they had has a different score that the OFA will send us. We haven't got the scores returned to us yet. I think it takes anywhere from 2 weeks to a month to get those scores back, and they will range from excellent to good to fair to borderline, mild or moderate, and severe, which would be A1 is excellent, good is A2, B1 is fair, B2 is borderline, mild is C, D is moderate, severe is E, and I'm trying to watch for a little interview I'm going to show a Boujee so I don't voice over it, but that's kind of what they look for. The Orthopedic Foundation for Animals is what OFA stands for. I've got a few notes here I'm working on. And what they did at the clinic we used is they checked the girls for hip dysplasia and elbow dysplasia. Now, there's a lot of codes and stuff that I don't think I'll have time to read, but I may do it. There's codes that they give you when they give you the outcome of their x-rays. I asked them could they tell anything about what they saw, and the girl that talked to us, I guess she was a tech, she might have been the actual vet that did the radiograph or what they call it. She might have been her, I don't know, but I've got just a little bit of video of the clinic, as you see here, of the surroundings. I didn't feel like I had permission to video in there. Here's the girls coming out, by the way. We sat in that room waiting for them to be picked up. They called us. They were there from 8 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I will say that they did not charge near as much as I thought they would. We had EKGs ran on both of the girls, and we had blood work ran on both of the girls to make sure they were healthy enough to be put under anesthesia. That's just something you can choose whether or not to do, and we did. And then they did the x-rays, and I'll read to you what all they do, how they do that if I can get to it. But I just can't say enough. They called 3 different days to check and see how the girls were doing. And here they're about to come through the door, right here. They called to make sure they were not having any adverse effects from the procedure. and they were so good to the pups. I mean, they just were. They treated them good. That place, if you can tell, these pictures don't do it justice, but they have something like marble floors. They have white leather furniture in there. Super clean, super professional. They've already turned in all of our x-rays to the OFA. And I've already gotten the bills for the fees for the OFA and from the vet's office. This should have cost us about $3,600, and it was less than half of that. So I am so happy. But I want to say that genetics play a really important role if you're going to breed your dog, or if you're going to want to know things about them that there may be a problem with later in life. And so this OFA testing is really important, because I am planning on breeding the girls if if they come out with a good score. Now the vet tech or the vet, whoever it was, said usually when the vet's doing it, if during the procedure they'll say something like, "Oh my goodness, if a dog may not look like it's going to come out very well," and she said the vet didn't say anything about that. So I feel like that was a good thing, but I don't know what they're going to say. But the genetic tests that we had done can help track potential problems, and you can fix a problem if it's something that needs to be fixed, or you can know you don't need to breed your dogs, so you don't pass a genetic defect on to the puppies. And also with this Embark and ORIVET testing that we've had done, the saliva testing we had done when they were babies, we also can tell what they're gonna show as far as health. Watch this interview with Boujee. It's funny. So, Boo, how was your experience at veterinary care when you went and got your OFA testing done the other day? Did you really have a good experience? What do you think? Was that very clean? Did they have marble floors that shined like a diamond? I know, it was so good. And they've called and followed up, I think 3 times now. What an impressive bunch of professionals. Have you got anything to say for the folks, Boo? Here's the microphone, Boo. Have you got anything to say for the folks? No, she does not want to say anything for the folks. She put her foot on my hand and pushed my hand down. Hey, Boo, sweetie, have you got anything to say for the folks? Can you speak into the microphone, Boo? How was your experience at Progressive Vet Care? She has no comment. So back to the subject at hand. OFA stands for the Orthopedic Foundation for Animals. The foundation was developed in 1966. Several dogs from the same breed had developed similar issues, and a man named John M. Olin discovered the issues could be traced through a dog's lineage and didn't just randomly happen to some of the dogs. Before blood-based genetic testing became readily available, one of the main ways to track orthopedic issues in dogs was through x-rays. Instead of just testing individual dogs with owners, the OFA certification process began building a database. The dog's information, including the breeder, birth location, and family connections, was a part of the database. Now, I did have to sign a waiver that they will put their findings of their OFA testing in the national database, whether it's good or bad, so that anybody that potentially buys a puppy, if I would even breed them, which I would not if they had bad scores, they will know up front what they were getting, possibly genetically. So bad genetics don't get passed on without people knowing what they were getting. Genetic diseases are covered through the OFA certification. to discover hip dysplasia in dogs and is still a primary source to track any hip issues. Over the years, the expansion of DNA testing has led to several other genetic disease trackings. Dogs with bad knees could have a condition known as patellar luxations, which the OFA certification tracks. And by the way, their Embark and OriVet tests did not list that as a potential thing on their saliva. The OFA certification also tracks the transmission of various heart diseases, and early discovery can help major problems be prevented in the future. Hypothyroidism is also covered through that testing, which was also done through the saliva. How early should you have your dog OFA certification? How early should they have it? Many of these diseases may not show physical signs until years down the line, when damage has progressed already or the treatment options become limited. Ideally, test your dog and have OFA certify them as young as possible. Now, I waited until they were 2 years old, and that's what I had recommended to me by the vet professionals. With so many complicated details in genetics, not every answer is always in black and white. The range of genetic results will typically go from excellent to severe, especially in the case of hip dysplasia. An excellent rating means that your dog's genetics likely contain no traces of hip dysplasia. Severe is the worst kind. The main goal of OFA is to help treat a dog's health and prevent future breeding of painful genetic diseases. What options are available? Well, you can have surgery on them. There's prescriptions that will help with treatment. But again, if my dogs show for that, then I'll know I may have to have them treated if it starts to cause problems, but there will not be any breeding of the dogs. I have, as of now, done everything that I know to do to ensure that these girls, if they are bred, will whelp some healthy puppies as far as is within my control. I mean, anything can show up that these tests won't show. But I have done everything in my power to make sure they eat healthy food, that they're exercised like you're seeing them doing right now. They have love. They have proper grooming and brushing. They have mental stimulation. I mean, we do everything for them that we can possibly do. They're our family. But I am excited to see what their scores are. Neither one of them's ever showed a limp. I have had Chihuahuas in many, many years ago. And I never had a one that didn't have something like that. And they'll just start limping and hopping on 3 legs all out of the blue. And it's because their hips pop in and out, I'm sure. But I have not seen the girls do that. Now, Roxy didn't get a test because Roxy is not going to ever be bred. We had her fixed at six months old, I believe. And but I'm doing these things, again, just in case I do breed the pups. So I'm very excited, and so is Pet Dad, to let you know that they got their OFA testing, that that office in Western Kentucky is, by hands down, the cleanest, most professional acting veterinary office I have ever been in. They treated the girls great. They didn't act like they wanted to get away from there. Now, that's my son that just happened to walk up. He walked up from next door, and that's... He didn't want to be on camera, but he got on there, didn't he? But anyway, our vet's office here locally, we love too. We love their down-home ways, and we will let them do the OFA testing, but they don't do it. So when I get the results from their testing and get the scores and get them interpreted through the vet's office so I know what I'm doing, I'll share that with you. I remembered today how that woman that sold me the puppy with no tail got on Facebook and was calling us a not very good family. We had bought Roxy from her years ago, and I will say that to my knowledge, she does not do any of this testing. And her friend that wrote me the snotty email also does not do it. She breeds puppies and she doesn't test any puppies. And that's whatever they want to do. But I wanted to not breed my dogs unless I did everything possible to pass on a healthy animal. I'm not trying to make a quick buck, and I recommend to you, if you find a cheap golden doodle, I can't speak for other golden doodles. I can't speak for them, or other doodles, I should say. There's many different kinds of doodles. But a golden doodle's personality, their temperament, I absolutely love. That's baby Roxy, by the way. When we got Roxy, there she is. I cannot say enough about the golden doodle, and I also cannot say enough that you do not want, if you find a cheap golden doodle, it's likely not been put through health testing, and you're going to do a hit and miss on whether that dog is going to have, a good panel of, whether this dog will come up with diseases or not, or bone irregularities or joint problems. I mean, it's okay if you want to, pay all that money, but you'll pay a lot of money fixing it, or you will not have your dog long. That's all I'm doing it for. I've bought dogs that were never tested. I'm still looking for a male stud or for a male to guardian home. And that's what I'm going to do with it too. So you see why golden doodles are expensive. I've covered that before too. If you have good quality puppies, you're going to pay for them. And, if you buy one. And if I breed quality puppies, I'm not going to make any money. This today just added to the price of what we've spent. But I've said before, we've spent well over $20,000 on these girls, and I have every receipt to prove it. And but I'm happy to do it. I wanted to challenge myself to see what I could do genetically to help the Lord create some awesome puppies, and that's what I've done. So I know if you're still listening, I thank you so much for your loyalty to our channel and for the way you guys comment and click like and all the things. I thank you for that. I thank you for your support. Just keep watching, and as soon as I get those results in, I'll be excited to tell you what they are. Even if they're not good, I'll still tell you. So, see you next time. A little side note, I forgot to tell you, I took the girls for their testing on December 26th, so it'll be an estimated 2 to maybe up to 4 weeks before we hear anything.